Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's David and all of this is Magic Orthodoxy. This is the place where I review magic tricks, decks of cards, card games, puzzles, Rubik's Cubes, things that just strike my fancy. Today, I got a really special deck review for you. I'm not gonna review one deck, I'm actually gonna review 3 decks. That's right, I'm gonna review all the cards that I have so far in my Luke Wadey collection. Now, if you're not familiar with Luke Wadey, he's done a couple of different Kickstarters out on Kickstarter, and they've been successful, and he's released a couple of different decks. He's a graphic designer, he's super talented, he has a very creative approach to playing card design. He's a very original kind of concept idea that you're not really seeing out there, and so I kind of wanted to highlight him, highlight his work, and look at some of these really cool decks. So let's go. The first deck is his most recent. It is the Mono X deck. This deck is all about embracing the concept of monochrome, one color, okay? And in this one, the color is black and white. So this is the first deck in his new collection. I'm really looking forward to seeing where he's gonna go from here. In this series, he's gonna explore the use of a single color or a single chromatic palette. And what he's gonna do is he's gonna combine patterns and gradients to hopefully achieve some really beautiful and unique decks. All of his decks are printed from the United States Playing Card Company. This deck is traditionally cut. If I stick 10 of these in the caliper, it comes to 2.75. 2.75 is about a middle of the road between what we would consider to be just a regular feeling deck of cards and maybe a casino deck. So it's not quite as thick as a casino deck. I'm gonna say this is more your average cut. Luke also prints in very limited runs, so this deck is limited to only 2,500. Mono X has a two-way back design, and it's teamed up with side details on the card faces that allow for cardists and flourishers and magicians to do some pretty interesting things in their routines. The deck uses a variation in line thickness and gradients on the back design, and what that does is it establishes a really bold theme that I think is carried through the rest of this deck. It makes this deck look very distinctive, where the X there is created all the way through. We got custom pips, custom court cards, and like I was saying, the deck uses a black and white theme all the way through, with the red suits being light gray instead of red. With this deck, you get a double backer, which is great for magic tricks. You get an ad card that says Mono X on it and has Luke Wadey's social media contacts. You're gonna have 2 identical jokers, which is nice. And I think the theme of the deck has standard pip layout. I think the pips and indices are gonna look normal for gameplay. Your court cards look normal for gameplay. They've just been modified to have that kind of cool black and white grid that's there in the center. And what I really love about the back design is it almost looks like it has a border, but the border is broken by the design as it goes to the edges. So I think that will do something fun for cardists and flourishers. All right, the next 2 decks we're gonna look at are the grid decks, Grid 1 and Grid 2. Luke wanted to find a way to combine 2 of his biggest passions with this collection, and I think these really stand out from the crowd. You've got really dynamic typography, really bold color, and I think that's what brings these next 2 decks to life. The first grid deck was the gray and yellow grid deck. Like I said, this is a typographic deck of cards. Typographic meaning it's done around letters and words, not so much pictures. So this deck is summarized by the International Typographic style, or the Swiss style of graphic design. So perhaps this is not a deck that you would normally be used to, and I think if you're stuck on the standard pips, indices, and courts, this might be kind of a little bit out of the box for you, because this deck focuses on how each card can be displayed through words, but it also makes sure to have the primary values required for those of us who are serious card players and serious collectors. Luke said when he designed this deck, he wanted it to be minimal and restrictive. So what that means is all the complex patterns and pictures haven't been included, but instead they've been replaced with a very bold and simple approach. You'll notice these cards are designed to be read from multiple angles in multiple ways. So whichever is easiest for you, it makes this interesting for gameplay because they combine 2 different typefaces, which I think makes them easy to read, but it also provides a unique twist on the traditional way we look at playing cards. This deck comes with 2 yellow jokers that just say Joker on them. It comes with a 3rd blue joker, and then an about card or an add card. Now, rather than the suits being colored, the cards are colored. So the black suits have a black face design with white ink, and the red suits have a red face design with white ink. And the back design is completely gray and yellow to match the tuck case. Now, if we pull a card out just to look at it and examine it and kind of go over the features of it, you'll see in the top right of the card, that is where the suit changes. On the left side, the pips are minimal, and there's also some writing underneath. And then you'll notice the sequence of the card is faded, while the current card is in bold. There's also a shorthand abbreviation for each card there on the side. The second deck in this series is the Grid 2 deck. This is the blue tuck case. Just like in the first deck, this deck also has done away with the traditional pips and instead has adopted a typographic format. Each card acts like a kind of miniature poster that describes the card with words, and it sets the theme rather than illustrating the card with pictures and numbers. However, with this one, with Grid Series 2, each card now has an alignment with numbers and letters that sit on the edge of a circle. So they appear to have the same alignment, but they don't always sit exactly the same on each card. Again, the design is minimal and functional. Even the back of the card is super stripped back with just only the name of the deck in a full color bleed, and I think it has a real cool impact. The back design is all done in a solid color of blue, and it just simply says Grid with a white period, and then in the upper right corner it says Series 2. With the deck, you'll get one ad card that just simply has Luke Wadey's social media contacts, and then you'll get 3 purple jokers. Again, like the previous deck, the black suits are a black face and the red suits are a red face. And if we just use one of the cards as an example to look at, you're gonna see the card is written in its full name. So like you see 7 of diamonds right there in the center, right? And then the 7 and the diamond pip are placed in the traditional corners for gameplay, which is great. Then written with upper and lowercase next to it, you see 7 of diamonds spelled out. Then around the circle, there's a current sequence of cards, including before and after the current card. So it says like 6, 7, 8, but only the 7 is highlighted, so you know it's a 7 of diamonds. There's a shorthand code in the upper right corner, that SEDI, that means, you know, it's a short for 7 of diamonds. And then in the lower left corner, similar to the first series, the current card is shown by the pip and little tiny light up dots. And in this case, there's 10 dots for the 10 cards, but only 7 of them are lit up. The court cards have a diagonal line introduced into the graphic, and that symbolizes the court cards. You know, the court cards are really a two-way image that's created by a diagonal line that goes from one side to the other. So whenever you see a diagonal line in these cards, you know it's a court. All right, so that's my collection of Luke Wadey cards. I want to thank Luke Wadey for allowing me to have these cards so that I can do the review for you. Definitely want to follow Luke on Kickstarter and make sure that you're watching him as he releases new decks in these different series. Obviously, all his backers and supporters will get decks first, and then any remaining stock goes out to the stores. And so hopefully, if you're looking for these, you can reach out to him on social media, find out where they might be sold in your location. Otherwise, just Google Luke Wadey or Google like Grid 2 or Grid 1 or Mono X and see wherever these quality playing cards are sold. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for supporting Magic Orthodoxy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.